listening to the Questionnaire.
Say that again.
You're listening to the Questionnaires.
I've just started. Right here, for your ears, for your eyes.
The Questionnaire.
Get your comic on.
Poke it out, poke it out, poke it out, poke it out.
I didn't even do a sound check. What you been reading, man?
I just started reading Dodge, Mike's series that they launched. They just did the Kickstarter too. I grabbed the 4 issues that they had. So
look, I want to read that. I won't lie. Like, that's definitely something that I wish I could pick up in my low. I think that's the thing that pisses me off a little about, like, all these people running Kickstarters, man, in all honesty. There are a lot of good books out there. But I'm like, oh, dude, it's immeasurable. Like, when we had Kelly Thompson on, we were talking. I mean, if you go check out her extras that I just posted, because you can, you know what I'm saying? Because you subscribe to the Patreon, like everyone out there should. If you, she's talking because it's me and her and Dave works with Mages, so Dave gets a bigger discount than I do because, you know, he works there, right? So yeah. I mean, that's fine. I wouldn't expect him not to. But in that, he's like, you know, I picked up like 16 books. He's like, I was like, that's a lot. And she was like, well, really, is it, with everything that's so good that's coming out? And dude, she's like, I just don't know how to get comic book wages or comic book sales up again. And without a beat, because that's just who I am. And it's the unknown factor part of me. It's the Killa Factor half, you know what I'm saying? Go listen to the music. It's all there. You can uncover that. I was like, make a living, like a minimum wage, livable again. You know, that's how you increase comic book sales. You make minimum wage livable. You make it to where you don't have the disparity between the upper class and everyone else that's there. And you make it to where people can afford to live. And the second you do that, people will be more apt to, you know, buy whatever entertainment that is that they want to buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And dude, instantly, Kelly's like, you know, in all the times that I've asked that question and all the answers that I've gotten, no one's given that one. And I think it's the right one.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, like, this weekend was Niagara Falls Comic Con, right?
How was that, man? You got to meet Greg Pulte. I'm like, look, you want to fight? Scott, I'm jealous. Come on, man, let's go.
I didn't get to meet him once. I got to chat with him twice.
Oh, rub it in a little more, why don't you? Whatever. Alan Henry's been on this show almost 4 times now. Will be 4 when we play D&D, but I guess I should shut up because you were kind of responsible for that happening, so whatever.
Alan's good shit, man. He is good shit. So the show itself was it's a blast. We had a lot of fun. It was tiring because of the foot. The Friday I was stupid and I was on my crutches way too much. So by Saturday morning, my leg was a little sore. Just took some Advil or whatever, and then Saturday I had taken my neighbor gave me a wheelchair to borrow, so I used that for most of the day, and I got around fine. No, there was no issues. So sales wise, like, the layout was much better than last year. There's no doubt. Like, the flow was nice and that, but sales wise, it was a crapshoot. If you were a horror genre stuff going on, like comics or anything like that, you sold well. Most of the show was horror based, which was really weird. Like, I made a ton of connections with new people who had never heard of me. They, like, dude, I had 500 business cards. I handed out at least 250. So it's not like people weren't stopping at the table. It's just they were specifically looking for certain things. Now, the nice thing is, Freak Show Comics that's down in Niagara Falls, Amy and Keith, they keep my books in their store. So anyone that was like, well, we're not, buying today type thing, or we already spent all our money, they're like, we'll go there and grab your books. So there is pluses there. It's one of those, with a big show like that, you can't get discouraged. And it's amazing how many people do.
It's funny, man, because that you say that specifically, because I've seen a post on X, formerly Twitter. I guess we're just going to start calling it X because,
Yeah.
why not? But yeah, I seen a post on that from Gail Simone in reference to, don't be surprised or annoyed or anything when these artists and writers are trying to sell their books at cons, and specifically she's like, you have any idea what it costs to table at New York Comic Con?
Yeah.
Which I don't. I can imagine for New York Comic Con, it's a chunk. But yeah, so I mean, I see that point. That's why when I go to shows, when I go to cons, like for me, I want to meet creators and talk to creators and see what's going on. Also just try and do things and hopefully be able to bring some dope creators on the show. We've got a couple coming up from where I went to PopCon that are coming on. Hopefully a few more will end up hitting me up. I really think you know what? I need to put in the LinkedIn contact here. Like that's not there, Scott. So like you can like directly send an email to the show and contact me if you're interested in coming on.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. I need to add that, man. Leave me alone. I've been trying to juggle a lot. But we do have a couple coming up from PopCon where I was there, as well as from the cons you've been to. Scott, I think we've still got people coming up here in the future. Howard Wong was one of those. He'll be coming up shortly. Which man, Howard had stories that were like,
Howard's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah,
I was able to, when Andrew was tabling at Toronto Comic Con, when I was helping Andrew, and Howard was right beside me on the left hand side, so I got to chat with him quite a bit.
Yeah, dude, that dude has so many stories and so many look. If it's out yet, if it's not out yet, I don't know. It depends on where I go in editing things. I should technically, if Heather's not going to show up, I should go back to editing right now, Scott. I'll be real honest. But hey, man, because Oric just started their
it's
Kickstarter and I just had the whole team on with Mike Ruth, no less, as a co-host, and it was a pleasure. We got into all kinds of things on that end, So I'm like, look, I might be shuffling around and not releasing quests in the orders that they was done,
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. They have 21 backers. They're 8 hours in, and they're already at 250% funded.
Heck yeah. That's why I need to get this thing done so I can post it up in the next day or two, Scott.
And man, that foil by Rob Guillory,
I didn't see the foil.
Gonna be sick.
I didn't see the foil. I did see the cover by Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, Rob Guillory did a cover, and
this is the whole problem.
Is pretty wicked.
This is the whole problem, dude. Is I don't like to scroll, and that's a problem with what I do here over at the QUESTionnaire, because there are so many times that I should just scroll, because I can be like, oh well, hey, they're dropping that, and we had them on. We dropping that, and they had no. Like, I don't know how many times I could do that, dude. Like, I know Doug Wagner's getting ready to drop a prequel to Plastic. And it's not like Doug hasn't been on the show a number of times. We're getting ready to have Doug on again to talk about the prequel to Plastic. I'm looking forward to it.
Plastic comes out today or tomorrow, right?
That seems right. Yeah.
I want to say it does. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
I think you're right. I think I've seen a post from Doug at some, but again, this is me relying on the amount I'm on social media, which typically when I'm on a social media, Scott, here, let me tell you how I like to get on social media, Scott. I like to get on my computer, make a bunch of posts, and then close all those tabs. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
That's my social mediaing. But if you meet me in person or even on a quest over here where you're chatting, I'd like to think you even know this, Scott. I'm a social son of a bitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't like it when you add media into it. It fucking offends me.
It's funny. So you're gonna jump on Kara, whatever.
Dude,
Whatever the new one is. Okay, so
why? For the love of God, why? I don't. I'm to the point where I'm about to be like, I'm just gonna create a social network, and fuck you if you ain't on it. This is the social network I'm on. These are the people and the people that I want to interact with will come over here. If I don't want to interact with you, I will kick you off the social network. It is mine, right?
Yep. So, I've been kind of trying to figure out how I want to do Kickstarter for Cereal Box, right?
Oh.
So, what I did was just in the past week, I went and sat down and I counted out everything that I have for Cereal Box. So I've printed over 850 books. That includes like blank covers and specials and stuff like that. In total, I have now sold over 800 books.
Hell yeah.
Between the two, between issue 1, issue 2, all the different covers, everything, which is fantastic. I want to say, like, I think it's really important to, I think at the beginning you have to really take a bit of a cut and give books to certain people so they can review it, they can read it, and they you know what I mean? I give Andrew some, give David some, I give, I'm going to be sending some down to Leandro, stuff like that, right? I'll send some to you. But outside of that, like, I'm sitting between 700 and 800 books sold total, which is awesome. Only problem is I've been freaking spending all the money on everything else because of this fucking foot.
Well, and the whole, it gets back to the fact of how much it costs to table the cons too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Niagara Falls in total cost me, it was about $350 for the hotel for the 2 nights. It was $460 for the table for the 3 days. James was nice enough to give me an extra pass. Normally we would pay for extra, but because of my situation and that, he gave me the extra pass to have help. So that was good. And then you add the food, you add the, like, everything else. So I want to say I spent $900 total. Let's say I made $320 in sales, which is less. Now that's with 4 books, which is less than what I did last year when I had 1 book. It was a weird show. Not everyone was buying. It was really strange. Not a big deal, because you can't, like, that's the thing, right? So many people get anxious and worried, and like when you get to a certain point like that, you have to just like forget about it. Money is not what it's important. You are selling yourself on top of your book, and you're making connections with the fans. You're making connections with other people. You're making connections with other creators. That's how you build what you're trying to do, right? And it's amazing how many people get so discouraged, and it's just like instantly they'll disappear. And I think that's why a lot of people just kind of are gone, because you have one bad show and that's it.
I wonder how many people you see that have something like that happen and that eliminates them from the comic book industry. And I wonder how many times it's made it to where some glorious story never came to fruition because someone was discouraged. And again, make minimum wage livable again, and I think we'd be all right. I mean, can I be sincere in that? I know, but I mean, if you look, just go listen to my music. I'm pretty sure you can understand I'm about that life.
That's exactly it, right? And I made, as soon as I came to the show this on Friday, as soon as I walked in, the first two people I met was Bob Camp and Michelle, Bob's wife, right? Absolutely amazing people. And like, I came walking in the door. I didn't have my stuff. I had my crutches. I'm going up the stairs, and the two of them, they're like, "Oh, hi, how's it going? Oh, what happened to you?" Right? So then we got chatting, and then I'm like, I can't believe that they're just, but it's like anyone else, right? So many
Real quick,
people get nervous and scared to talk to people that are, in a spot like Bob. You can't. You can't do that.
the problem is, Scott, with me, I think I have the opposite.
Oh, I don't know. It's still, I mean, you try to be like anyone else, right? Where you're just having a conversation. And I'm in my own head, I'm sitting there, I'm like, does he want me to ask him questions about certain things about what he does and that? Like,
Dude,
so like I got to have supper with Michelle and Bob on Saturday night, right? So along with a bunch of other people, Brian Nancy. So Brian's the one that did the piece in behind me. It's not very clear, I know. Sorry, guys.
Man, if you put it on the TV, you can see it all right, maybe. I don't know. Depends on how the edit goes, y'all.
But
look on your
Brian is
tablet.
like,
Zoom in, motherfucker.
What's that?
I said, look on your tablet. Zoom in, motherfucker. Whatever.
Yeah. Here, I'll do it. So, and he signed, like, Edward signed it for Becky, right? Like, Becky and I are huge Battlestar Galactica fans. We watch the show annually together, right? All the way through from beginning to the end. And to get to meet him was pretty awesome. So, and it was like a totally normal conversation, exact same thing, right? It was funny because Brian had me I was in the wheelchair, and Brian actually pushed me up while I held like some of the, I know. So, but I said to Brian, like, as we got up there, I paid to get the signature and that, and Brian's like, "What are you doing?" I'm getting out of the wheelchair. I said, "You got to stand for the Admiral." So then we had a chat about what happened to me, and then we got talking about Battlestar, and he's like, you and your wife both watch? And I said, yeah, we both. It's our favorite show, like number one for both of us, right?
Firstly, let's just take a step back real quick. And can you tell everybody how you injured your foot, Scott?
What, playing with the kids? Walking in the door? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, supposedly it's quite common.
To walk in a door and kick your own
Well,
ass?
Well, see, I think because I was doing that filming on the Saturday right before it, and I think I didn't feel any tweak or anything, but I think I maybe weakened it off because I was really favoring my right side when I was jumping on the rocks. So there was like a scene where I was jumping like on a whole bunch of big boulders, right? So I think I may have like weakened it as I was landing on it, and then going back up. I had to pull like it was like 100-pound pulling up. So I wonder if maybe I strained it then, and then a couple days on the road, and then all of a sudden it popped. So
okay, I didn't realize you were doing something so vigorous during filming on that particular event. As far as that,
yeah,
so that makes it to where I'll give you a more leeway in the fact that you walked through a door and tore your tendon off your bone, dude. Jesus.
You know me and my Greg Capullo, right? Like he's my number one, right? I got my top 3 favorite artists. Greg Capullo, number 1. And then the next 2 are like 2A, 2B. Danny Earls and Mike Ruth. Like these guys, and it's not just about their artwork. Their artwork speaks for itself. It's also about the people that they are. What's that?
They're excellent storytellers within their art. You know what I mean? They're good at telling a story, which I think is something that I mean that's what makes a great comic book artist, in my opinion. Shout out to Mike Ruth right there.
Exactly.
For that pretty picture, that Swamp Thing right in the background. You can see in so many episodes. So many different quests. But also the ability to be able to tell a story with your art, which I think is a completely different skill set than just
It really is.
Yeah, like there are people that can draw. Sure, you can draw. Okay, you can draw a flower and it looks cool. Okay, that's phenomenal. Can you draw a series of pictures about that flower that tell some kind of story? That's a completely different skill set than just drawing the flower in itself. And I think that's something that people don't so much realize anymore. You know what I mean? As far as, especially in comic book art. It's fuck AR art. Can I just say that?
Oh, fuck. It's funny that you talk about that, right? Because it goes the same with writers too, right? I think certain writers have to use certain artists to create the story that they want to create, right? And like Scott Snyder can use that. I think that's one nice thing about Scott and Greg's work together is it just flows, right? And Greg could probably just draw the story, and then Scott just adds the words after, right? Because of the way that Greg's art tells the story. And then you look at James Tinian's work, and he doesn't actually put a whole lot. Like, I mean, he puts a lot of work into it. I could only imagine what his scripts look like, because he doesn't need a lot of verbal on the page because he gets the artist to tell the story in the image. Do you know what I mean?
That's kind of curious, man, and I bet it would depend upon a lot upon who he was working with. Like I would assume at this point, if he's working with say Michael, you know, who shit, I still need to read. Have you read his new book yet?
No, I haven't, because of the boot. I haven't gotten up to the shop yet.
See, I've got a copy. I just look here. Let me show it off.
It looks awesome. Here, this is for you.
Boop, 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 boop.
You're watching the questionnaire with Scott and Jay. 8 minutes, I guess.
I picked this up from the library just because I hadn't read it in a while.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple books from the library. I've even read some Superman here recently, surprisingly enough, and very much enjoyed it. But this is the book, the stack that I have that are my books. That I
Secret
need to-
Empire. Yep.
Yeah, dude, I hadn't read that yet. I mean, I know how it ends, and I know how Deadpool gets boned, but I've always kind of wanted to read the actual Secret Empire just to see Deadpool get screwed like Deadpool always gets screwed. This is why I'm the Wade Wilson of hip-hop, man. We ain't going to get into all that, right? But, and I mean, I honestly wanted to read the story of Secret Empire. I never had. I also had to pick up that...
Something is killing the children.
Yeah,
Yep.
Volume 7, man. Because I have 1 through 6, and, like, you know, you want to bring up James Tynion, like...
Oh, I love his work.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
This.
And his stuff is so out there. It's so unusual and just, yeah.
No, this is like one of my favorite. Dude, I don't know if this is my favorite ongoing series that I'm reading currently in graphic novel format. Is what I'll say,
Yeah.
right? Because I kind of like I jumped in late and I wasn't trying to go back and get all the back issues, so I just started picking up the graphics. So that's what I do now. Like, but yeah, that series has been so raw, man. But yeah, no, like yeah. So and this, I want to point out this stack. If you would have seen it 2 or 3 days ago, right? I sat down like 2 or 3 days ago and just for like 2.5, 3 hours just read comics.
That's awesome.
And I mean, I was reading floppy issues, you know, like this. So like this shit was probably at least double what it is right now before I did that, Scott. I told you, yeah. So like, look, man, I need to read this because we got Erica coming on for her own quest. You know what I mean?
I do have that. I haven't read it yet, though.
I've heard it is from Dave told me that someone that runs a Spawn podcast, because they're a podcast specifically for certain aspects of comics, which I found odd. But then the more I thought about it, the more that I didn't. It's like, oh yeah, there are people that just read X-Men or just read Spawn because there's so much of it. That's all you have time to read or money, you know. Make minimum wage livable again. We can see about maybe increasing the comic book market. I told Kelly that was a go-to line after she said that. I was not playing, y'all. I was not one fucking bit. Not was I playing. But they said it was the best written Spawn in a long, long time. You know, and then you know she's also got Blood Hunters over there at Marvel.
Yep.
That she's doing.
Yeah.
Did you read the Blood Hunt? Are you reading Blood Hunt?
I've got most of them ordered, but I haven't read it yet.
Dude, I got fucking, yeah, I got something. I got James Tynion over here chilling. I got some shit by, Spencer McGivern. So shit. Everybody that worked on Secret Empire, that's a lot of people. You know, some Rick Remender, the Holy Roller. Yeah, some Erica Schultz, that shows y'all. Some more Erica Schultz with Blood Hunters.
Nice.
Yeah, Kelly Thompson, Scarlet.
Sweet.
You see this cover? Are you checking out Scarlet?
I haven't yet. No.
Dude. Look, man. I'm reading Cobra Commander, right? Because Dave convinced me to read it, and the more I read it, the more I'm like, son of a bitch, I want to read this whole universe. Because it is. And then Kelly sold me on Scarlet when she was on the show. And then also said something that I had to edit out of the quest. I mean, I don't want to get nobody in trouble, Scott. You know? Yeah? You reading into the Ultimate Universe?
I have been, yeah.
Have you read Ultimate Spider-Man?
Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Black Panther, and Ultimate X-Men. But I haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't
This
read
just
that yet.
dropped. This is like brand new.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't read Panther, man. Are you gonna tell me I should have read Panther? I'll throw something
No.
at you, Scott.
I didn't like Panther as much as I liked the Spider-Man.
Little
But
what?
that's not to say it wasn't good.
Dude, that Spider-Man has been superior. Not to play on Dan Slott's
Yeah.
name or anything.
What
These
if
two,
aliens?
little
Yeah.
what if, dude? If you, I need to hit up Paul Reiser. Help write this. Shut the up.
That's awesome.
I didn't realize. So look, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
All right, dude. That's my favorite what if I've ever read.
Really?
I've read a lot of what ifs, man, and it's because look, I'm a huge fan of Aliens. Like I've loved that series and those series of films for a long, long time, Scott. And Paul Reiser's character was, well, he's a POS. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be clear. He's totally he's a corporate guy. I am not. Um, it's a nice way of putting it. And just to see how everything went, dude, it's been intriguing. So I'm interested in reading the rest of that. I missed issue 3 of Money Shot Comes Again. So I needed to dig out.
I've not read that before.
I needed, dude, it is satire at its finest by Tim Seeley.
Nice.
I mean, it
I'll
is.
have to check it out.
Yeah, it's satire. And then if you ain't reading this, Scott, you ain't allowed on the show. Okay. I was like, you ain't allowed on the show no more.
The only one I didn't get to read was issue 7. I have looked everywhere for it. I couldn't read it, so I got the rest.
I'm sorry. I don't remember exactly what the story was in issue 7 specifically. I know the whole series has just been phenomenal. And then we got Dave.
Well,
I ain't pronouncing his last name. Yeah, can you pronounce his last name? Pronounce his last name.
No. I'd have to see it. Hey, I got a aliens question for you.
Yeah.
So in the third movie, there's the egg on the ship as it's going home, right? In Aliens 3. Who put the egg on the ship? Was it Bishop?
Wait.
Oh, no, not Bishop.
You mean in Aliens? Before you mean in Aliens? So the second one, not the third.
There's Aliens, and then Aliens 3. There's a ship going home, and there's an egg on the ship. Who snuck the egg? Who snuck the egg onto the ship? Which Bishop's the first android in Alien, right?
Yeah. No. That's Ash. Ash is the android in the first Alien.
Right. Yeah, so it is Bishop.
Yeah, and then Bishop is the android in Alien. In Aliens, and also he's in he's in Alien 3 in a capacity, but they say that it's the original, like the actual person, you know what I mean, at the very end of the film.
But I think the real question was Bishop the one while Ripley was going down to save the girl, was Bishop taking an egg to the ship, and that's why it took him so long to get back. You're gonna have to watch those movies again, aren't you?
I mean, it's been a while since I've watched those films, and but I've watched them enough that I know the storylines pretty flawlessly. Scott, but you bring up a valid point as far as who did put the egg on that ship in that particular instance, because there's no reason that anybody should, based on what everyone was saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking that it was Bishop. I can't wait to get that. I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
You want to know how behind I am on my comics? Look, I haven't read any of this. Or
Wolverine.
this. Or this.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to take this out. Look, this is in the original, like, this is like wrapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the comic came in a bag. Part of me is like, it's a $10 book. Part of me is like, I really want to read this.
Well, I was going to get Capullo to sign my Wolverine one per store. I decided not to because I was trying to save money. I took it out of the bag, though. It had a single nick on it already. I was like, fuck.
You just took it out of the bag and it's already got a nick?
Oh, no, I had a nick on it before I took it out of the bag. That's why I ended up taking it out, because otherwise I was going to leave it in the poly bag.
Wait, now what is this?
The Wolverine cover that Capullo did, where it's just the virgin cover with the like the teal background.
I told you I don't scroll enough, Scott. And you know what? I never will. I never will. I will not let the fact that I've run this show make it to where I scroll. I'll just terribly promo the way that I do. Oh wait, what's that off of? What is it?
It's Wolverine.
Why not? What issue though? Like, is that the Sabretooth War they just finished up?
Wolverine Volume 7, Issue 37. That's all I know. It was like last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
it was like one of his first, because he did the 2 Moon Knight covers, right? And then that was his next one, but they did like a special one per store in a poly bag. But it had a single tiny little nick on it, on the spine.
And it was one per store?
Yeah. Like there's the regular cover that says Wolverine, and it was like a cover B or something like that you could order. But that one was like the virgin copy was one per store.
All right then.
So, funny story about Greg. So I go over, give him a couple. Of course, it's Greg, right? I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for Greg, Snyder, Kevin. You know, those guys all got me into it.
Wait, Kevin who?
Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
My brain, because when you said Kevin, my brain divided between Eastman and Smith, and I just
yeah. But like it was things that they said or things that they did. So like Kevin's the one that got me into comics more than I already was, right? One that told his story, and then it was like, well, I can do that, right? And that was when I read Batman Dark Knight's Metal, and I read the first issue. I'm like, artwork on this is amazing, and the storytelling. It was the what is it called? The Forge and something else. There was 2 one-shots that Snyder did.
Hey man, look, don't you know, Scott? If you're talking to DC, I'm not the person to talk to.
Yeah. Like, dude, if you want to read something that's just out there and then you totally wouldn't expect that you would like it, it's those 2 one-shots before Dark Knight's Metal starts.
I'll tell you, I'm coming to the conclusion, and it may be just the fact that I'm getting older. I appreciate things at a different level. I mean, I assume it is the fact that I'm getting older, but like, that's like, look, I want to reread The Death of Superman. And that's because I've been rereading Superman here recently, and I think it hits a little different than it used to. I don't know, man. That can in part have to do with Fred Kennedy and what he said on the end of his quest, because when he said it, I ended his quest. I still think that's hilarious. He did. He said it, and I was like, "This show is done," and I literally ended the show right then and there. Scott, he said it, and I was like, "I'm done. We are done. There is no more quests to be had here, Fred." But what he said specifically was, I feel like people who really, really like have an adamant despise for Superman had something bad happen. You know, like in life. Like I said, much love to Fred, but like at that moment, I was like, "This quest is over."
Yeah. Hey, buddy. What's going on?
Like I have nothing more to say. You know, can I say something funny, Scott, that I find really interesting if you look at it, man? So, what, year and a half ago, you had your first quest over here, right?
Yep.
Right? Right along those lines.
Do you want to get specific? March 18th? Something like that. Or 28th. March 28th.
All right. So
When it didn't record.
Oh, that's the one that didn't record.
Yeah.
So everybody that knows out there is a quest with Scott where he'll tell you he was way more timid ostensibly and kind of like tight and like, you know, his butthole was a little tight. But unfortunately, I can't show you all that interview because the sound for some reason didn't record on that and a particular PanCon that coincided at the same time. It's one of 3 episodes where the sound didn't record proper. And I'll be real honest, I would have loved to have had the PanCon. I would love to have the very first quest with Matt Hawkins to where we could show it somehow. Quest though, Scott, that was a waste of time.
Yeah. It was a fucking waste of time.
Sorry. I did not mean that stuff.
Shit.
I did. No, man. Look, no. Dude, are you serious? Do you really think that's the worst interview I've ever conducted?
You know, it was definitely the worst interview I ever done.
All right. I mean, I ran an online radio for 3 years, Scott. I interviewed people from so many different backgrounds, up to and including with my brother, Mr. DKB, the other half of Killa Factor, having over an hour discussion with an adult film star about aliens. Okay?
Yeah.
That happened, Scott. You want me to send you the link? I can send you the link, dude. It still exists. You can listen to what fucking Jesus, dude, what was your name? Now I gotta
Hold on. Hey, Jay?
No.
Hey, Jay? I just fell.
Are you alright?
Nope. Uh-oh. Shit.
Jesus, man. Seriously?
I think I just ripped it again.
Are you kidding me, Scott?
Nope.
In
Shit.
the boot?
Yep. I couldn't turn. And I couldn't stop myself.
I'm putting all that up. Live injuries caught on the questionnaire.
This has been the questionnaire.
Where's the link?
Thanks for checking out the questionnaire.
In the link below, yes?
I will drop it like it's hot.
That's another party.
It's cool, man. I love it.
The questionnaire. That is all.